Hello, hello, Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. Let's do a Divine Feminine check-in. Feminines, I have not been neglecting the energy, just for some reason. I just totally forgot, and I did a double Divine Masculine. So maybe we'll do a double Divine Feminine. Okay, Spirit. Let me ground. Let's all ground. Okay, Spirit. What do we need to know about Divine Feminine collective energy? Okay, we're starting immediately. Boom. Beautiful. Even more beautiful. Leadership, abundance. A lot of, a lot of infinity symbols we have there and all those eights. Anything else, Spirit? What does collective feminine energy need to know? What is the feminine working on? Absolutely health. I could see this in my own life. I hit a threshold where my body was just like, nope. And my body shut down. And I'm guilty of that cycle before, of not listening to my body when she's, whispering. And then I finally I'm forced to listen when my body starts yelling. Okay, we have happy ending in reverse and healing in reverse. Okay. Right off the bat, feminines, I think what's being called for is let me gather myself before I start rambling. There's something that needs to be released regarding some sort of happy ending. If you've grown up in this society, you've grown up with the Disney fairy tale archetypal mythology, right? And I use that term very intentionally to point out that it is just that. It's a mythology. And sometimes those moments of myths and stories and folklore and all these wonderful kind of ways that we've, navigated society, those stories can be beautiful. They can move the needle forward. They can inspire us. They can inspire a collective. They can really help us out of a dense fog when we're seemingly lost or stuck. However, when the mythology no longer serves and it starts to become like an anchor attached to your ankle, then it's time to, become aware of how you're using this narrative or how it starts to use you, right? So there's something that needs to be healed here in the feminine collective around, you've all heard of the waiting for a white knight to come and save you, right? That's the Disney kind of archetypal thing, right? So there's something here. I'm getting an impression of, do you guys know Mel Robbins? She's like a motivational speaker coach. Well, she had this viral reel that went viral, but it was literally it was just somebody clipped it to just hear the punchline. And it was like, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming. You can wait all you want, but no one's coming. And I always used to cringe when I would hear that, mainly because it was so harsh. It was so sharp and pointy. And for someone who may be really deeply in the trenches of suffering, that's really hard to hear, right? That can be, way to kick a horse when it's down, right? It's that kind of energy. However, the core of it is true. If we want to see tangible, real change in our lives, then nothing external can change our internal. We are the only life force, the only, it's with our higher self, our soul, our will, our psyche, all of who we are that can really intentionally move the needle forward in a sustainable way, in a way that we can invest in for our futures, feminine. Okay. I wasn't even gonna go there. I wasn't even gonna look, but you know me, I can't not look. So in the unconscious position, we have forgiveness in reverse. For those of you that have been watching me for a while now, know that when there's a reversal in the unconscious position, that's my message of a false shadow, meaning something is not what it's going to look like. and let's honor the card, right? It's a communication throat chakra card. It's a card of forgiveness. It's in the reverse in the unconscious position. So hold on, let me work this out. Give me a moment, please. I'm going to sip some water while I think. These false shadows tend to trip me up because I could feel the impression of what it is before my actual mind understands what's coming through, and it always trips me up. Okay. So this is what I do when I'm like confused. So if the forgiveness was in the unconscious position upright, I would say, okay, it's time to let go of something. It's time to let go of blame and step into your sovereignty and reclaim something. Forgive that person, place, or thing for what they did or did not do. Let it go, right? That's what would have been pushed into the shadow is forgiveness came in the upright position in the unconscious. It's not. It's reverse. So maybe you think someone's holding something against you that's really just not a thing. Maybe you have been toiling away, stressed about either forgiving or being forgiven, but it's all been a wash. Like it's not something that's actually alive in the field. Here's the interesting thing: when we keep stories alive, that we how do I want to say this? Sometimes we can go days, weeks, months, or even years, or even decades, dare I say, keeping a perception alive that is not the actual truth. That is not really what's going on, feminine. So you're being called to let go of a story, let go of a person, place, or thing, a relationship. It could be an intimate relationship or a relationship with a friend or a coworker or a boss or an entire organization or an entire town or country. We're meant to let go of this sort of idea that we will be rescued in the collective. We're calling in more accountability, more sovereignty. We're calling in a little life force to get us to roll up our sleeves and get to work, to take accountability. Now, I don't like to get political. I'm not going to, but I just have to nod. It's a little nod from the universe to say that, like, let's think about, we just had this big election. We just had this, kind of uproar in the United States. For feminine energy, I think there's a lot of wounding. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of, hopelessness, despair, helplessness. And so what have we been training to do on this channel and within our own hearts? We've been learning how to hold our center for love of self and other in all flavors of chaos. Now it's an easy, short, little cute phrase to say, but the reality of actually doing that in a difficult moment of adversity is incredibly challenging, right? So feminines, in this moment, we are being called to heal any sort of fairy tale, mythology that we have been investing in maybe for our entire lives, right? Maybe you grew up in a culture where, your life didn't really begin until you were married. And then your whole narrative is rooted in like being identified through your male partnerships, right? That's something that we've been looking to dismantle for many, many years, to reclaim a bit of that identity, that autonomy, that sovereignty, right? To reclaim that we can be the leaders of our own lives, of our own soul mission, of our own divine purpose, that actually stepping into that very honorable leadership position is our path to health, wellness, and abundance, right? When our bodies can trust ourselves, trust our psyche to know that we're not going to betray, reject, or abandon a part of self, then we are functioning and firing on all cylinders, and we're operating in optimal health, right? And when I say health, sure, yes, it could be physiologically your actual body's systems, right? All your physical systems, but actually, we have to honor that anything that shows up in the 3D physical world, the realm of matter, actually started and began in the realm of energy, in the realm of spirit. So when I'm actually talking about stepping into leadership, what I'm actually saying is that we are reclaiming, we are stepping into the role as the captain of our own physical energetic shift. We are captaining, quite literally, where we are choosing to invest our life force in. What truths are you going to animate at this point? Not what happened in the past, not what truths you animated in the past, and not what truths you want to animate in the future, but right now, in this present moment, what is true for you? And now you can ask yourself, okay, this is true, but is it ultimate truth, right? Like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Maybe I don't have one. Like, is this true because I grew up in a family that told me it was true, or is this universally true, right? And sometimes that takes a little nuance, that takes a little presence practice and very like micro dismantling with grace and kindness, because sometimes as we start to, I'm being generous and nice, most of the time when we start to dismantle our family of origins, our family of origin hard drive that was implanted in our root chakra in our childhoods, we start to, confront some things that maybe the culture around us or even our own hearts and bodies are starting to reject. And sometimes that experience could be a little jarring, right? It's hard to go against culture, to go against family, to go against these different things. It is swimming against the current. However, you will never gain a more pure energy than you will with seeing for yourself, than testing out your truth yourself, right? It's like your life force will burn more clearly and more intentionally, more consciously when you can prove these things for yourself, right? We all incarnated here and we all have a different unique purpose. We all have a different unique mission. However, the lessons that I came here to learn are not the lessons you came here to learn. And no one can tell you how to walk this path. No one can guide you. No one can, live out the trial and error of these truths other than you. And it's really funny that, it's not funny. I'm just going to say it and I won't judge it, but it's really wild to think about like big bodies of thought, like religions or philosophies or different things, where it's pretty wild. It's like, how can this collection of ideas speak to so many people? And I understand the mythology of it and the beauty of it and the tradition of all these beautiful things. However, the one thing or the big thing that religion tends to do is to kind of narrow our focus on the self experience, or the trial and error of the soul. I'm going to share a funny phrase, but my spiritual mentor, Carolyn Mace, she always talks about religion being the toilet water compared to the soul as perfume. Basically, like, by the time the soul gets to religion and is plugged into like this bigger thing, it loses that first-hand contact with the divine. It creates a lot of barriers to our experience with the quantum field, with the universe. And now I know that that's not for everybody. Some people, through religion is how they actually reach God, and that's a sacred and beautiful thing. However, in times of trials and tribulation, it's really important that we have enough faith and we don't give our power over to a person, place, or thing, an idea, a thought, a philosophy, a religion, whatever. So I'm not criticizing any sort of individual body of thought or organization or group of people, but I am calling us all to a even higher accountability and even higher sovereignty, to understand that despite whoever and whatever is happening outside of self, to know that you can navigate your ship through any sort of storm. Okay? All right, that was like a long, intense situation. Let's see, where do we want to go? Okay. All right, Spirit, anything else? Well, let me see. Okay, what would support feminine in stepping deeper into this leadership? Now, this could be leadership of self, leadership over energetic energy, leadership over a cause or a mission, leadership within family or friend groups. Okay, we have transformation in reverse. Look at all that green. Look at all that heart chakra energy. Sorry, I'm feeling, you know when you feel one hair on you somewhere and it bothers you? Okay, anything else for feminine spirit? What would support them? Now I asked what would support them into stepping into leadership, and we got transformation in reverse. So if you feel that you've been stalling or blocking some sort of movement or change or shift in thinking, shift in acting, shift in being, if you've been consciously aware that you've been stalling something because it's uncomfortable, because it's scary, because it's the unknown, it's time to really look at that and see where you can loosen the reins a little bit. Okay, what do we have? More reversals, third eye chakra and new beginnings. Okay, interesting. Message here is, it's kind of repeating what I just said. I love when I say a message before it comes out in the cards. Are you blocking this, like some sort of divine wisdom that you already know to be true? By you blocking this feminine's collective feminine energy, by you blocking this, it's blocking the last leg of the journey. It's blocking this transformation that so deliciously wants to unfurl for you and gift you with this new beginning. Now we also have recognition and reward. I mean, come on, we have heart chakra and we have solar plexus. Let me just put this here so we could see everything. Yeah, by tuning into your heart space. How do I say this? Wait, let me just check the unconscious position. Of course, feminines, of course. Okay, in the unconscious position, which is the shadow position, we have discontent and boredom. Like, let's honor that you can pretend that you are bored and discontent with your life, and you could pretend that you are helpless to make changes. You could pretend all these things. At the end of the day, you're pushing this into the shadow because you know that only you can make these changes. Only you can be the one to love yourself enough, right? Heart chakra, open your heart chakra, love yourself enough, believe in your own self-worth and worthiness, solar plexus, to enact the change that so deeply wants to move through your life and literally gift you on a silver platter with this delicious new beginning. Oh, interesting message. I didn't even see this card here. I forgot to talk about it. We have recognition and reward. Like, it's just comical how these messages come out. It's almost like a kind of a sharpshooting friend who just kind of speaks the truth, right? So you can push this make believe that you're bored and discontent, and you could push it into the shadow all you want, but it's there, right? You know it. The divine knows it. It shows up. The product of this shadow, even when we try to push it away all we want, the product of it shows up and manifests in our life. So I'm just cracking up at this card. So the message I'm getting here is like, it's kind of a joke that you think that you're insecure. And I don't mean to be insensitive, but I have to kind of embody the energy in the cards. It's kind of comical you think you're so powerless because you've received so much reflection, so many divine reflections back from the universe mirroring to you your worth. However, you're not believing it. There's something here that you have accomplished so much. You have moved so far. Literally look at this card. If if I could pick it up. Look at this card. It's like the divine light. You've been chosen. It's like the clouds parted and you are the chosen one. It's like this person is wearing like what looks like a medal, right? A medal of honor. Maybe they're bowing so they could be, so the medal could be thrust upon their necks, and they are receiving the glory that is all of this beautiful sorry, my brain is not functioning today. It's like, hey, the universe is like, wait a second, pause, look at all you've accomplished, look at all these things you've created, the people you've loved, the people that have loved you, the connections you've made, the way you've shown up for people in your life, feminines, the way you continue to show up for yourself, even in dark times, and for others, the way you, raise your children and care about your friends and family members and care about social issues and mission and purpose and the environment and, fill in the blank here. Feminines, you are the beating heart of the universe. It is you. It is no one else. You are quite literally the conduit that ushers in new souls ripped from the quantum field, planted, seeded down through our physical vessels into the realm of matter. You are, again, I'm going to say it again so you hear it. You are the heart of the universe. The world beats and breathes with you, feminines. You are being called to own that power in a very healthy, beautiful way, to really honor your station in this grand collective mission and purpose, to honor the truth that divine feminine energy, as we move through this Aquarian age, the feminine energy is the new leadership for this new age. Ooh, full body chills. Wow, wow, wow. Feminines. Wow. Whew. Okay. Sorry, I'm like in awe of that message. And sometimes I just have to kind of sit back and kneel at the altar of all of this beauty. Okay, is there anything else, anywhere you want me to go, Spirit? Isn't that interesting? I almost said masculines. It's so funny, actually. That's not an accident. It was Spirit's way of reminding me that so much of our default programming is to, kowtow toward the masculine energy, or to allow the feminine to take a backseat towards this masculine energy. Reminding you, I'm not talking about men and women. I'm talking about the masculine energy. I just did it last week. I am working alongside this beautiful nonprofit that provides job training and jobs to people on the spectrum and with other disabilities, with mental and physical disabilities. And I noticed that, normally my state of bliss is to be in my feminine energy. It's where I'm the most creative. I can problem solve really well for my feminine energy. However, when I'm around people who are not claiming their own masculine energy, who are really almost bleeding out and drowning in kind of this let me say it this way. That's a little too dramatic. So I was in a situation where the person I was around was so exhausted from being in their masculine energy that when they got around me, they would just immediately sink back into their feminine energy. However, I was in my feminine energy, and I noticed that I kept picking up the mantle of the masculine energy, and it was so draining to me because it's effort for me to really fire on all cylinders in my masculine when it's not my natural dominant energy. And so Spirit wanted me to talk about this because we have to catch ourselves, right? It's really easy, especially if you've had these patterns in place for like 10, 15, 20, 30 years, or maybe, it's ancestral. It's like part of your culture to live and exist in different ways. feminine energy, we need to reclaim leadership in a way that works for the feminine, not step into masculine energy to lead, but to lead from the softness, to lead from the trust and surrender, to lead from the throne and magnetize that which we need to us, to magnetize people, situations, experiences, opportunities from our throne, to stay in our seats, stand if we must, but stay in our throne, on our throne, near our throne, to make these changes, right? To step into this healthy, safe, balanced, resonant leadership energy. That is the pathway to these new beginnings. That is the pathway to a sustainable abundance, right? We can all hustle, right? We can all hustle. We can all, work within the already very masculine patriarchal templates. I think a lot of us have had to do that, right? It's much more difficult to reclaim the feminine, to reclaim what abundance is to us, what success means to us, what pleasure, what play, what satisfaction, what success. Did I already say that one? I'm going to say it again. Success and abundance. What does that mean to the feminine? Because here's the thing, collective, the metrics are different. So we can't use the same metric to test feminine success that we were using all these many years to test masculine success. It's different. We have different values. We care about different things. We are more interconnected. We want to have balance between like work, social, family, mission and purpose, hobbies, interests. We want to weave this like balanced web of existence in order to lead from stability, from a stable place, right? Ooh, okay. Anything else for feminines? Anything else that I miss, Spirit, that's blocking this beautiful self-esteem and self-confidence? Anything else that would support the feminine stepping into their leadership? We have grounding. It's so funny. I became so ungrounded this past week. I had to take a day. It was Wednesday, and I had to totally unplug from everyone and everything. And I just stayed home, stayed cozy, and regrounded. I didn't realize how ungrounded I became until my body was screaming at me and I was shutting down. So feminines, what are your grounding practices? Now listen, when you are completely ungrounded, it's really hard to remember what supports your grounding. So make a list, make a wellness list ahead of time so that when you are in a place of struggle or dysregulation, you don't have to use excess life force and energy to think of those things. You could just remember, oh, hey, I wrote this stuff down. Let me go consult the list, right? Okay, anything else? So collectively, feminine energy needs to ground. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else standing in the way of this sustainable leadership, this sustainable abundance, this sustainable sovereignty? Anything else? Yes. What do we have? We have fearless love. We have rage in reverse and seasons in reverse. Okay. All right. Hold on. All right, the message I'm getting here, and this cycles back to our earlier message around letting go of fairy tales. Now, we are being called to flood these memories, these moments, these seasons of our lives that were particularly rage-inducing. These parts of our lives, these stories, these perceptions that really pissed us off, that really stoked the embers of our rage. I just have to keep using the word rage because that's the word. We are being called to flood those moments. More specifically, we are being called to flood the parts of self that were not met in the way that they needed to be met, that are so angry still, that have such a fire burning for these memories. You have to remember, when you're using your precious, sacred, limited life force to keep these old stories and old pain and old memories alive, you are quite literally stealing from your present and stealing from your future. You are being called to flood these moments with radical, ruthless, fearless, unconditional love and acceptance. Forgive who you need to forgive and let it go. Do what you have to do. Confront those parts. If you still have emotions about these old moments in your life, create sacred, protective, safe space away from your life to vibrate that energy. If you're pissed off, write it out, vomit it out in some sort of way. You could do some pillow pounding or hand screaming, or one of my favorites is to lay in bed like almost like a starfish and let your body tantrum, like really shake it out and get all of the pain out of you once and for all. And tell yourself, I will allow myself to express whatever I need to express for 25 minutes. Set a timer. Unleash the kraken of whatever wants to come out of you. And then when the timer goes off, put it to bed. It's time. That might not sound compassionate, but really it's the most compassionate thing I can tell you, because what is the alternative? The alternative is you keep this pain alive for the rest of your life. It's like picture you're carrying all this heavy luggage with you everywhere you go in your future, right? There's like rocks and boulders and gravel in your suitcases, and you're dragging them with you in every present moment and in every future moment. It is time to unleash the kraken, whatever that looks like for you, and let's stay safe. Let's not harm ourselves or others when we unleash. Let's do it in a kind and safe, graceful way. And you have to find your flavor. Like, they have those rage rooms, which I've never been to one. I've been in a lot of emotional release containers. And let me tell you, sometimes like the rage part might be really short. You might be angry for like 2 out of those 25 minutes, but really they always say that anger is the bodyguard of sadness, of pain. So it's like very quickly you might confront and realize that under all that anger is actual like sadness. Allow that sadness to rise. Honor what it wants to tell you. You know, that sadness might be so upset because they were rejected or abandoned or not met in the way that they needed to be met, right? So your job is to step into the role as the divine parent and parent these parts of self. Parent them like it's a little kid next to you having all of these emotions, but allow that child to take the stage, give them the microphone, allow them to spew whatever they need to spew to get it out of you, feminines. Okay, yeah, oh my God, I can't make this up. In the unconscious position, we have grief. So where are you pushing grief into the shadow? What do you have grief about? This is a great journal topic, a journal prompt. Where is grief showing up in my life, either consciously or unconsciously? Now that I said it, pay attention to it, right? It's like now your feelers are up and running. Keep an antenna up for where you have and experience moments of grief, because grief is another flavor of density, right? Rage, sadness, grief, despair, hopelessness, helplessness. These are denser, energetic emotions. So allow yourself to excavate this grief out of the shadows and flood it with this fearless love and this fearless light. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to end on a divine masculine because this is what's in my all right, we have, however many holy words you speak, what good will they do if you do not act upon them? Right, so it's like, feminines, I know you hold so much gnosis and wisdom in your body, but if you're not deploying that divine, all of that divine truth and wisdom to yourself, to your own life, then your love is incomplete. You've heard me say things like this before a million times. If your service to the collective consciousness does not include yourself, then your service is incomplete and thus not sustainable. You are being called to deploy all of this wisdom upon your own life. And then we have, how hard is it to stand in truth? How easy is it to lose yourself to desires? Yeah, for me, this is like, don't take the easy way out, feminines. Make sure to wade in the water of your truth, to really wade in that water, no matter how dense or thick or difficult it becomes. It's really easy to succumb to the desire of comfort, right? Comfort, what is that great quote? Comfort murders the passion of the soul, or comfort murders creativity of the soul. Whatever it is, it's so true. We get comfortable, and if we move through our lives always choosing comfort, then we're robbing ourselves of that delicious gift of what it feels like to move through adversity. We're robbing ourselves of our own hero's journey. Feminines, you are being called to claim this hero's journey for yourself. Don't wait till the universe forces you and shoves you down this hero's journey path. Don't wait till the village abandons you and you're forced to go on this journey. Claim it for yourself. Step into that divine sovereignty, that powerful leadership. Reclaim what leadership means to you, to your inner feminine, and take a step. That's it. I am going to leave it there. Powerful, powerful reading, feminines. I'm sending you so much love. I hope this was supportive, and I will see you in the next one.